Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Wow. I'm so glad you're tuning in, checking in, and please, again, I don't want to be so rhetorical with this, but pass these things around. Just want to get some life into people and let them know God is good and the Word is true. Religion can lead you astray, but the Holy Spirit never will. So thank you guys for joining in. And I have another thing I have to do this morning, so this is going to be a short one as well. But I just was having some thoughts that, have you ever had one of those times in life? It's like I'm going through stuff and here comes somebody. It's like, I don't need to know your problems. And we've all been there. But I look back in Genesis, the 4th chapter. I believe it's around the first, second verse through the 9th verse. It's talking about Cain and Abel. And of course, Cain killed Abel. And Cain made a statement, am I my brother's keeper? Because God had asked him, where is your brother Abel? Well, he knew he had killed him and buried him. And that question, where is he? And Abel, or Cain's answer was, am I my brother's keeper? Here's the concept I had. Until you can answer, are you your brother's keeper? You'll never be able to rejoice in all things. And so you and I are to guard and protect who God puts in the field with us. Your field is your life. Don't destroy your harvest by despising the field God put you in. You can work around people, live around people that in your mind today, right at this moment, it may be they're getting on my nerves, they're this. But am I my brother's keeper? In the new covenant concept, yes, you are. And I want to explain that. The word says to sow seed in spite of the wind and the clouds. You can read that in Mark 6. You can read it in the Old Testament as well. We need to understand this. God always wraps our miracle up in the one that we don't consider. Now, I want you to think about that a minute. God always wraps our miracle up in the one that we don't consider. Now, watch this. God does not send a person into your life to fix them, but He sends them into your life to keep them by sowing into them. It doesn't mean you have to be used and abused. Some people are on the take, and when you realize that, then you're sowing into fallow ground. But the concept is, many times, things we go through, and we say, oh my God, there's another problem. Well, it's that problem that you may be looking at that God's saying, this is your field. Am I my brother's keeper? When you can sow into someone that aggravates you, you have matured in your Christianity. Because a lot of times when we go through things in life, oh my Lord, you wonder, how am I going to get through this? What am I doing? But the person you sow into could be someone that God is going to use greatly in life. I mean, you look at Gideon in Judges, the 6th chapter. He was considered the least of the family, but yet he conquered the Midianites. He was a small field. You look at David in 1 Samuel, the 17th, 18th chapter, and there's many more chapters about him, but you look at him, and it's like, okay, why would I sow into David? But yet David had a destiny that someone had to sow into. And the prophet sowed into David. Look at Mary. Mary was looked on like she was unfaithful to Joseph because she got pregnant without Joseph. And she was overlooked because she was a Nazarite. Many times when we go through things in life, how do I put this? Lord help me. The, quote, little people that you may be overlooking are going to be the ones that bring forth miracles. So are you your brother's keeper? Let me retranslate that. Are you going to be the one that sows into the field of someone that's going to leave a legacy? Because, see, Mary was overlooked. She was a Nazarite from the wrong side of the tracks, but yet God was in her. And Joseph recognized that. Look in the Gospels, in the book of Mark, I believe it's the 6th chapter again. The 5,000 and the disciples said, Jesus, these people are hungry. And he said, you go get them something to eat. And a little boy came up with 2 fish or 5 loaves of bread. Now, am I my brother's keeper? Can you appreciate the small things in life? Because, see, the little boy with a small lunch actually instigated the creation of a miracle. Look at the Samaritan woman in John 4. Jesus wanted to win all of Samaria, but it started with a person that had been married 5 times, and now she's living with somebody. And I'm seeing you guys chime in, and I appreciate that so much. I just want you to understand, don't overlook the field that God sends you. Don't overlook the field that God sends you. You know, in Mark, the 5th chapter, there was a demoniac that lived in the caves, and he cut himself with stones constantly. You would have overlooked this guy, but Jesus was his brother's keeper, and he ministered to him, set him free. And then in Mark, the 7th chapter, it's recorded that that same man that got set free started a revival of the gospel in Decapolis. Isn't it amazing? Many times people we overlook and say, oh no, they're beneath us. They're the ones that God is going to use. And so, yes, we're going through a pandemic. Yes, we're going through times that none of us like. And all of that stress, the last thing that you need is for somebody to come up into your life that has needs. But if you blow them off, you could be blowing off somebody who could conquer the Midianites, someone who could conquer the Philistines. You could be disdaining the Mary that will birth the Christ. If you consider the winds, the word says, you will not sow. If you consider what and who you are ministering to as insignificant, you have already blown it. You cannot cause them to feel unconsidered. You cannot make them to feel insignificant, because see, the way we look at it, and I've had to learn this, you guys believe me, I've had to learn this. We always want to move up in life, but you'll never reach your full potential until you realize you are your brother's keeper. God will always send you a field to sow into, not another problem to take care of, but a field to sow into. And so here's the concept. Who is your enemy trying to make you overlook? Because we get so wrapped up in our dreams and our visions and what we want in life that many times we just blow off things that we seem to be insignificant, things that people that, oh, they're not going to get better, yada, yada. But your enemy is not the one that you look down on. Your enemy is the judgment you pass on to the one you look down on. The enemy, and we all have enemies, and I know the church labels him as the devil, but understanding the enemy is just the concept of selfishness. The enemy, literally, is the inability to see that person as the field that needs to be sown into. God will always send you a field to sow into and protect in the time of need. Because everything, according to Genesis 8:22, everything works according to seed, time, and harvest. And so if you, like and I can speak for me, not for you, but I have thought, oh my God, I don't need another problem. I used to see a person with a problem in the midst of my problems as a problem. Now I see it as a field I can sow into. The enemy you battle, and I battle, is the spirit of pride that says, you don't appreciate or recognize me, so I won't consider you. Have you considered the field that God has put you into? You know, Jesus, when the disciples asked him, teach us how to pray, he said, pray this way, lead us not into temptation. Well, let no man say when he's tempted, he was tempted by God. God never leads you to temptation. He leads you into the field you're supposed to sow into, because as you give, it'll be given back to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. That doesn't mean you have to wear yourself out helping somebody that doesn't want help. You can always tell a good field because they begin to change their life. If you are continuously sowing into a field that will not change, can I encourage you? Excuse me. Can I encourage you? Quit. There are people that will milk you. There are people, they don't want to change. They have no intentions of changing. They're just going to stay the same. And they want somebody to facilitate their inability. And somebody's needing to hear this. You're going to have to cut some people off. But the ones that are working in the field that God sends to you, they are trying. Sow into them. Don't sow your seed into people that have no ambition to change. And you may have never heard a preacher say that, but the older I get, the more truthful I get. People that don't want to change their attitude, their opinion, their argument, you have to say, okay, God, send me a field I can plant into. Because a lot of times we understand, oh, God's going to send me here, send me there. Sometimes God sends the field to you. He doesn't always send you to the field. He sends the field to you. So I want to encourage you today, start seeing opportunities that come to you. We have been so delusioned and trained that we have to go ye, go ye. We haven't appreciated we are where we're supposed to be. And God will send us the field that we sow into. Now watch this. You needed the boss to lay you off, furlough you, fire you, so you could reap a better job. So that boss is not your enemy. It's your field. The enemy you battle is the spirit of pride. I battled the same thing. You needed that person to do you wrong so you could move on and graduate to the fullness you deserve. That person is not your enemy, but it's your field. Okay? And I hope you guys are getting this. Stop looking at everything as bad and evil. God will send you a field. He'll always send you a field to plant or to reap. So go ahead and rejoice the same as if you're the one that plants or the one that reaps. Never let the field that God shows you to be perceived as your enemy or undeserving. And that is a huge, oh my gosh, that is huge for me, because oh my Lord, for years, I'd be in the middle of a battle and here'd come somebody with their problem. And in my mind, I'm thinking, God, I can't take care of me and them. But now, after all these years, I realize God always sends you a field to distract you from your problems. Watch this. Here's the good news. Someone like that little boy in Matthew and Mark that helped to feed the 5,000. Someone has a sack lunch that's going to meet your need if you don't overlook them. Someone that no one wants to be around with, they'll start a revival in many cities. The demoniac was set free. Someone like Mary is pregnant with a gifting that will bring many to the knowledge of Christ. Don't overlook your chance to succeed. Never forget this. I know we're going through a pandemic. I know we're going through some tough times. It's tough on everyone. Instead of thinking God moved me out of this, start looking around you for soil you can sow into. Jesus said, if you've done it to the least of these, you have done it to me. The one that aggravates you may be the field God sent you. I know it's all early for you to hear that, but the one that aggravates you may be the field that God sent you. It could be the Gideon. It could be the David. It could be the Mary. It could be the demoniac. So I encourage you, stop waiting for God to make a change in your life. God always brings a field to your life. He always brings someone into your life that you can sow into. Well, how long do I sow into them? How do I know they're going to change? Number one, that is their choice to change. Number two, if a person does not have any desire to change, now this is just me, you live your own conviction. I am of the mindset I'll help anyone until they expect it. When they begin to expect it, they're cut off, because I will not try to ascend to the throne and make myself God in their life. And some of you, that just was a light bulb that went off in your head. Stop trying to be God in a person's life. Be good to them, sow into that field. But when they come to expect it, that is the time to cut them off, because they were sent not by God, but they were sent by the enemy to drain you, so the next time God sends you a field, you'll have the same opinion. Don't judge everyone God puts in your life the same way. There'll be some that just want to milk you and drain your energy, but then there'll be some you sow into that changes their life. And so I just wanted to give you hopefully a little bit of encouragement today. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, you are. When God sends someone into your life, it's not to test you or try you. It's to give you a field to sow into, because the principle is you will reap what you sow. Give and you shall receive. And so I hope that helps you guys today. Bless you. Thank you so much for being a part of the ministry. If you have never partnered with Mark Shell Ministries, pray about it, think about it. If you want to do it, that is awesome. Go to markshellministries.com. If you have any questions about whatever I teach, email me. and all of that information is on the website. Thank you guys so much for being a part, and I've seen so many of you chime in, and I certainly appreciate that. I am looking forward to getting back out amongst you, and if you'll agree with me, I am believing they are going to have a vaccine that has been fully vetted before the election, because and I don't know what your political emphasis is. That is your own discretion, but don't pray for what you voted for. Don't get in a prayer line if you voted stupid, okay? And so I just want to encourage you, agree with me that we get a vaccine, that people feel safe again, and this too shall pass, okay? But in the meantime, we've got enough on us right now. So God's going to send you a field. So look for your field to sow into. And speaking of sowing, many of you have supported the ministry during this. And oh my Lord, I certainly appreciate it. And you guys are such a blessing. I will look forward to seeing you next week. And I just call you blessed, healed, whole, and of course you're highly favored. But I speak wisdom on you, that you'll know the soil you're supposed to sow into, and you will be quick to understand if the soil is going to receive your seed. And so there's just a wisdom coming over you, and you will absolutely begin to walk in blessings that you didn't even ask for, because you and I are our brother's keeper, and your brother is whoever God sends into your life to sow into. You all have a blessed day. It was good to have you chime in and connect, and I will see you next week, if not before.